We now get to practice this process that Munira shared earlier on. Actually, as she was talking, it suddenly reminded me, too many of us read newspapers or magazines. You start reading an article, and then you read something, and then suddenly that sparks off some idea, and then you start daydreaming about something, and then suddenly you're like, oh wait, I have to continue reading this article. And you notice this happens quite often until finally you come to the end and you have finally read the article. So I think that's like a very similar process of what you are going to experience right now, is you will get distracted, but interestingly there will be moments of focus and there will be moments of attention on your breath, but there will also be moments where you will get distracted, and that's just normal. So the more you allow yourself to come back to your focus, the more you allow yourself to come back to the article that you were reading, the quicker you're going to get trained of this. Right? And another thing that we usually start with is, usually you set an intention for why you are meditating. And each person is coming from a different place, so each person has different intentions for doing this. It could be to reduce stress, it could be to be able to better prioritize all of the things in your life. Or it could be simply just to experience sitting and awareness, the way it's happening. Explore it for yourself, find out what the intention is, and also your intention can change on a regular basis. So for every meditation that you sit down for, your intention might be different, and that's also fine. Right? So I'm now going to invite you to just think about why you are doing this, why you're here. It could be something complex, it could be something very simple. Now begin by sitting in a position that feels both upright and relaxed at the same time. Feeling yourself seated on the chair, maybe your feet on the floor. And you may close your eyes or choose to look in front of you, a few feet ahead of you, with no particular focus. And as we begin, consider your intention. What brings you here? Now bringing awareness to the sensation of breath. Anywhere you feel in your body. How do you know you are breathing? You may notice a movement of your chest going up and down as you breathe. Or the sensation of air at the tip of the nose or at the back of your throat. Or perhaps the whole body breathing. I invite you to be curious. And wherever this sensation sensation is most vivid for you, allow your attention to rest there. And remember, this is your anchor. Because whenever your mind wanders, you are going to gently bring it back to this sensation of breathing. And remember that whenever your mind wanders, just be aware that this is the nature of our minds. This is normal. And with a feeling of kindness and gentleness, simply returning your attention back to your breath, back to this anchor. Breathing in, breathing out. You may even explore counting each exhale from 1 to 10. And if your mind wanders, gently come back to 1. Thoughts coming, thoughts going. No need to push away or chase after. Simply returning. Gently opening your eyes, returning awareness to the room, perhaps stretching a bit if that helps. And I invite you now not to think of this practice as over, but see if you can take as much of this to the next. What did you notice? How was it? Who wants to go to sleep?
We had a hard time following the breath for most of the time. Yeah, so we kind of recognize how much we are actually distracted, or how hard it sometimes really is to stay with one thing, right? I noticed that in the practice over time it also changes, so it's a really good indicator of how is your day right now, like how much are you distracted on a specific day, because every day will be different, and some days you'll be like, I'm almost not distracted, and other days you'll be like, oh, I can't even focus on my breath for 1 second.
But were you able to?
Yes. I always find it really hard to focus on my breath because I find it uncomfortable, so I focus on something else, like for example sound. Do you have any other suggestions? Because I don't know what it is, but the first time I had to focus on my breath, it was when I was doing yoga with, I don't know, 17 maybe.
Yeah.
And until today, it's not very comfortable.
Yeah.
Any other method?
So there are actually 40 different things that you can focus on, and I like that you mentioned, you know, sometimes I look at colors or sounds, and really it could.
It doesn't
The
matter.
anchor, yeah, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
breath
good
is
thing,
just
the good thing about
Yeah.
the breath is
It's
you
always
always
there.
have it with you.
exactly
Right,
with
it's
you.
like you don't have to set anything up, but breath is always there. But if you say it makes you feel uncomfortable, it's the first indicator. So you can look at something, right? But it's really like, for example, some people meditate with a candle, so they stare at the candle. You can have a sound, but it's not so much like listening to music, but like ideally it's a very monophonical sound because it's more about the intention staying. You can, and you can also, we will show you a little bit different ways. You can also focus on a different area of the body, for example. So it's more about focus. Some say, focus on the third eye. So there's multiple of that. Yeah.
Were you guys able to do this process that Manira explained earlier on? Did you? Yeah. Were you able to follow that through pretty?
Who of you judged themselves while feeling like, I got distracted? No one? Really? Wow, you're good. Okay.
Were you able to notice the voice that you were using for yourself?
Yeah, sure. And I always use some pictures to, like a train where I can put my thoughts inside and then the train is going away.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Because in clouds, because clouds always move. Great, thank you. Do you like to do this?
Yeah, so a very easy one. Like we said, we're doing like these dedicated practices, gym practice, but that's the one you can kind of do anywhere.